Flack math! Give me some math and I'll give you some flack. Flack math!
All right, lesson 19. We're going to talk about perimeter. Have we defined perimeter yet?
Yes.
We have?
Well, no, but, you know.
Okay, anyone want to give me a definition of perimeter? Yes, Hunter.
The outside of a shape.
The outside of a shape, yes. That's part of it.
That's just my best definition.
Well, that's great. Like the perimeter of the building is like the SWAT team says, all right, establish a perimeter. So they go around, right? Do you have a definition, Kiara?
Yes. Is it the measurement of the shape?
Yes, so that's where we need to be specific. Now, here's the cool thing. What's peri mean? It's not a platypus.
No, it is.
What is peri?
Yes, it is.
It means around. And what's meter mean? Like length. That's a meter is actually a verb. Is to measure. Okay. So this is to measure around. To measure. So perimeter, to measure around. Yes, it's outside of something, but it's to measure around, the measurement around outside of something. Now in everyday context, we would say like the perimeter, and we don't necessarily need to find the perimeter. But in math, when we talk about perimeter, it's the measurement outside, okay? Or the sum of all the sides, the distance around something. Question, Hunter?
I was told peri also can mean another thing.
Besides a platypus?
And besides around.
Okay, what does it mean?
Counterattack.
Yeah, like Perry, but I think that's spelled a little different. But
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, Grace.
So is perimeter only for squares and non-circles?
Good question. Awesome. So we do find the perimeter of circles, but circles have their own snobby language. Like they don't want the outside to be called perimeter. What's the distance around a circle called? Yes, Addie.
The circumference.
Circumference, okay? So circles have their own language. I don't know why. So, but when it comes to polygons call the distance around perimeter. But when it comes to circles, circles call the distance around a circumference. Okay, you see the correlation there? All right, so a three-dimensional polygon, if it's the same shape all the way up, that's called a prism, right? What if it's a circle all the way up, like a can? What shape is that? You guys know. Yes, Avery. Cylinder. See how that's a C cylinder? Prism, polygon. Okay. What about a polyhedron? Do you know what a polyhedron is? It's like maybe you have a pentagon that's all the sides are pentagons. That's called a polyhedron. What if it's not circular sides, but if it's one big circle? What's a ball called? What's a basketball called? Marin?
Sphere.
Sphere. So that doesn't start with a C, but it still has the S sound, right? So that makes it a little bit easier to remember all the different terminology. But just keep in mind that circles have their own snobby language. They're too good for perimeter. They call their distance around circumference. But let's, I know you know how to find the perimeter of like a rectangle, right? How do you find the perimeter of a rectangle if it's like a 8 by 10 rectangle? How do you find the perimeter? Hunter?
But you have to multiply the 10 by 2 because there's two of those exact same
Yep.
sides.
So there's another 8 over here.
Yeah.
Good. And there's another 10 up here. And then you can add them all the way around, right? 10 plus 8 plus 10 plus 8. So what is that? 36 inches?
Yes.
All right. But yeah, I like the idea of just doubling the 10. There's two 10s and there's two 8s. Okay? Well, what happens if I were to do something like this, what happens if I took this and bent it that way? If I took it and bent it that way, and then I took this and bent it that way, did I change the length of those sides? Did I change the perimeter? If I just bent it like that and then bent this like that, did I change the perimeter? No. So here's what happens. If this was still 10 and 8, let's see how this is still 8. From here to here is still 8. Do you see that? So this could be maybe like 3, and this could be like 5, right? And this could be like, I don't know, 3, and this could be like 7 or something. But either way, you know that these have to add up to 10, right? Do you remember when we had 2 line segments that added together? So this has to add up to 10, and this has to add up to 8. But a lot of times they'll just give you these side lengths, and you don't have to figure it out. But if I said this was 5, then you could do what kind of math to figure out what this is? What kind of math is that, Grace?
You take the subtraction.
Yep. So you just
8 minus 5.
Yeah. What's left over? If this is 5 of that 8, then there's 3 left. Okay. What about here? What if this was 6 here? And what would that be?
4.
4. Okay. But do you really need to know that? Do you really need to know those measurements to find the perimeter?
No.
No. Okay? And that's hard for some of us. Like some of us want to know the details. Like I want to know in order to find the perimeter, I have to know the length of all the sides, right? Well, no, you don't. You're just finding the sum of all the sides. So if you can still find the sum of all the sides without knowing the specific sides, okay? So let me give you an example. Let's say that the sum of all your test scores was 900. And the sum of all my last class test scores was 850. So what was the total sum of the test scores between the 2 classes? 900 plus 850, what is that, 1750? Now, do you have to know all the individual test scores? No. Okay, so I know that we want to know the details, but sometimes you just don't need to know. And that's another case here. All right, let me give you one more example and then we'll move on to lesson 20. Okay, see if you can do this on your own. You can either try it in your head or try it on your paper, okay? Let's find the perimeter of this thing. No clickies. No clickies. Okay, let's say these are in inches. So see if we can find the perimeter of this thing. Ready, go. Don't say it out loud. You can write it down on paper or you can try to do it in your head. You are doing it in your head. Admirable. On a test, are you going to do this in your head?
No.
No. Even if you do it correctly, or if you get it wrong, but you show all the sides that you're supposed to be adding, or as much as you can, then I'll give you partial credit. But if you just give me the wrong answer, then I can't give you any credit. So. All right, Avery's bouncing.
I think I do.
She must be close. Dylan has an answer. Grady has an answer. A few of you guys have an answer. All right, what do you got, Dylan?
25.
25 inches. Okay. What'd you get, Avery?
I got 36 inches.
36 inches. What'd you get, Grady?
66.
66
Wow.
inches. What'd you get,
What?
Grace?
46.
46. Oh my gosh, all these different answers. Somebody, yeah. What'd you get, Addie?
I got 43.
43. Another one. Addie.
I got 31.
31. Another one. Maren,
Another one. 28.
28. What'd you get?
48.
Oh my gosh. Every single answer was different.
What the heck?
What's going on here, people?
People have bad addition in head mental things.
Okay. Now, raise your hand if you just added up all the individual sides. Okay. Did you forget this side?
No.
All right. So
Wait,
that's
no,
one
no.
that you need. Okay. Raise your hand if you just added 22 plus 24. Where did I get 22 and where did I get 24? I don't see a 22 or 24 on there. Can someone explain where I got 22 and 24, Grace?
8 plus 4 to make like that total and like bottom.
Yep. So this adds up to 12, so that means this has to add up to 12. So that's
Yeah,
two
and
12s.
24 and then 11.
Here's
There's
11,
two.
so it doesn't even matter what this is. I mean, I could figure out what that is. What is that side?
6.
Not 6. Oh yeah, it is 6. Okay, so because it's 5, so this is 6 inches right there. So now, and you could put in the 12 if you want, or you could say, oh wait, look at all the vertical lines. Vertical lines go like this, right? So here's a vertical line, that's 11.
I did that.
And these two vertical lines have to add up to 11 because that's the same amount of length right there, right? So 11 plus 11, and then 12 because those horizontal lines add up to 12. So this one big horizontal line has to add up to 12. So 11 plus 11 plus 12 plus 12. So what is that? Kiara?
11 plus 11 is 22 and 12 plus 12 is 24.
Okay, so what is that? Who said 46 inches? Grace, are you the only one who got this right?
The only one who got it right.
I did it right in my brain, but for some reason I thought 24 plus 22 was 66.
Whoa.
I did all of that.
You know
for
what?
some reason.
I had the same thought in my head too.
I
It's
literally-
66.
I did that whole thing. It's like, okay, 22 plus 24, 66.
Good job.
Seriously.
That's so funny, Grady. We must think alike because I thought it the same thing. Yes.
So, Abby wanted me to tell you that you were her favorite teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, Sam.
I'm your most favorite teacher.
What?
Yeah.
Don't say that on video. Wait, what'd you say? Okay. All right. So you guys get perimeter, perimeter to measure platypuses? No.
I thought it was an octopus.
No.
Very the octopus.
That would be a completely different show. Can you imagine? Octopus secret agent?
I've never heard of it.
Very the octopus.
It's in his
Wait, no, I like the Chinese.